Hi, I'm Terri McCarthy. I'm going to be demonstrating how to solder two pieces of metal together. They're both thin, they both have textures, and so I'm going to be using easy paste solder, which makes it a little easier to accomplish. And so I have two layers of very thin metal. I have a honeycomb block, and the honeycomb block has little holes and perforations in it so that I could take steel wire and just embed it in the holes so that as I slide my pieces together, it's an automatic stop, and it just helps me set it up so my alignment is a little more accurate. First, going to take these pieces of metal and I'm going to dip them in the boric solution. This has no alcohol in it, so I don't have to burn the alcohol off from it, which saves a step. And then I'm going to apply some easy solder to the back of my top piece. And I'm just going to work right out of the syringe, and then I'll spread it around with a little tool. I don't need much. So I want just a nice even coat, so I don't have solder oozing out over the bottom piece of metal. It's a very fine pattern that's in that metal on the lower layer. It gets a little sticky, but eventually it ends up where you want it. Take my little tweezers, set it down top of the bottom piece of metal, and I'm going to butt it up to my little pins that are coming out of the honeycomb block. I have a little bird that's showing through the opening in this disc, in the washer on top, the washer-shaped metal. So I want to make sure that I can see all the detail of that little bird. I'll start my torch. The honeycomb block dissipates heat. Because these are really thin pieces of metal, I don't want to melt either one of them down. So I'm first going to heat around the pieces, and I just noticed that I have a little bit of solder on top of that applique. So I'm going to take a wet brush, take my pick so I don't burn my fingers, hold it in place, and just brush that off. I would not want that to flow into the top piece of metal because I'd lose some of the texture of the metal, and it would be less interesting. And what you're hearing sizzle is the extra moisture that's in the boric dip. And I use that dip so that I'd have less oxidation forming on my silver. Turn this up just a little bit. I'm heating all around my metal, and what I'm going to be watching for is that's the binder burning off. That's what you're seeing flaming. And when the binder burns off, then it really settles down and it allows that solder to flow. So you can see that that's all calmed down. And now I'm just going to heat around, and what I'm watching for is a glint on the inside edge and the outer edge of this earring. So a little glint in the center, do one more pass around, and there you have it. The earring has gotten cleaned up, and now I'm going to be soldering a jump ring to the top so that the earring can drop onto a French wire. I'm going to dip my metal in the fire coat, and I'm going to bump it up against the steel pins that I have in the honeycomb block. And I also want to dip my jump ring. It just makes a cleaner, shorter cleanup in the end. I'll slide my jump ring with the seam underneath the earring. Check my fit. I think that'll be about right. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of solder to each side of that jump ring. I'm adding a little bit to each side because that's how it's going to attach to the piece down below. If I put it just in the center, I would not have a good connection. Okay, and so that's in the center. Looks like the placement will be okay. Start my torch. And once again, I'm going to heat all the way around, and that's to heat the metal. Both pieces of these metal will have to be the same temperature to have the solder flow. I'm going to concentrate on the connection of the jump ring to the earring. And I'm watching for just a little glint from that easy solder. Okay, we're done. So now it can get quenched and it can get pickled and cleaned up.
Visit our Learning Center at cooltools.us for more cool jewelry making videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to sign up for our email list to be the first to hear about new videos, new products, and other cool stuff from Cool Tools.